Guys, the quarterback matchup, Gunnar Stockton versus Joey Aguilar. Tennessee's front seven versus Georgia's offensive line and vice versa. This is why we wait all offseason for matchups like this, and this is why it's going to be interesting. Fellas, we have another huge matchup in the Southeastern Conference. A game where, look, there's not a lot of love lost in this one. All right, anytime they play, I don't care where it is. And the stakes this year are really, really high. Obviously, having the game where it falls on the schedule, and that is Georgia going to Knoxville, going to Rocky Top. Both teams undefeated to take on Joey Aguilar, Josh Heupel, and the Tennessee Volunteers. And fellas, Blaine, I want you to give us the lines. I want to see if it's close to the one I have pulled up real quick. But I've got a feel in this game, and I want to get into it. But first, Blaine, get to the lines. What are you seeing?
So right now I'm seeing, and I'm on FanDuel Sportsbook, I got Georgia -6.5. That's going off at -110. Over under at 50.5. Yep. That's sitting even money right now. Tennessee money line's going off at +190.
All right, so look, I'm looking at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. They got Georgia -7. The money's on Georgia. That's -115 as opposed to the -105 on the +7. And then I've got the over/under 50.5 too, Blaine. So they're about the same, a little bit different than in our Florida LSU preview between ESPN Bet and FanDuel. I think the biggest matchup, and I know a lot of people are going to be talking about this all week. I want to go ahead and say it. Do you trust Tennessee's defensive line? Mm-hmm. Do you trust their defensive line against Georgia? I know it didn't look great against Austin Peay. I know that Georgia hasn't played anybody worth their salt. But I do know the way I saw Syracuse look against Connecticut. And thank God Syracuse came back and won, because that hit me a $600 parlay thanks to Fran Brown and company. But they didn't look great. And when I look at this Tennessee team, I think Joey Aguilar has done everything they needed him to do. I don't think he's taken too many chances. He's already got 5 touchdowns. He's 39 of 59 overall for 535 yards. The run game's been pretty good. But at the end of the day, this Georgia run game versus this Tennessee defensive line that was already we had questions about, and the injury bug kind of hit him against Syracuse. David, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to go ahead and tell you I like Georgia in this one. I think I picked Georgia to win this game earlier in the season. I think some people will be like, oh, well, they only beat Austin Peay by this amount. That's what Georgia does. I've watched them do it for years. I've watched them not cover against G5 competition and then go play amazing against somebody that's talented. But I do think Georgia can line up in heavier personnels and use Gunnar Stockton in the quarterback design run game to really get it whenever they want it on the ground until Tennessee can prove to me that they can stop it. I think it's a big mismatch. I mean, the matchup predictor's got Tennessee. I'm looking at it right now with a 51.5% chance to win, yet Georgia's favored by 7. I like the Bulldogs in the trenches in this one, D.
How great is it that we get this as a top 25 matchup? And hey, if you're Tennessee, why not now? You get him in Neyland against a young quarterback who doesn't have a ton of starts under his belt in Gunnar Stockton. Joey Aguilar looks like he's fitting in well, throwing the football well. Why not now? One thing that I'm a little bit worried about for Tennessee with this up-tempo nature that they like to play on offense, what's one thing that counters that well? It's depth. And Georgia has the best depth in the country. This is really the distinction between what Kirby Smart has done at Georgia versus what Mark Richt did at Georgia, right? The first 22 with Mark Richt were all world beaters too, but with Kirby Smart, it's that first 44 and really the entire roster of depth that he's been able to stack. That's one thing that makes me a little bit worried for Tennessee, but hey, why not now? In Neyland, that place is going to be rock and shock the world.
Blaine, I want your thoughts on the biggest advantage you see in this game. But on the other side, talking about can Tennessee stop the run? Can Tennessee run the ball? Can Star Thomas and Deshaun Bishop and Peyton Lewis? Because I think this is a game where you got to throw them at waves against Georgia in this defense because of that depth cone. But if you're going to go fast too, you talk about depth on Georgia's side defensively. What about the depth on Tennessee's side defensively? That's why I keep going back to this defensive line. If I'm Josh Heupel, you got to go out there and be yourself from a tempo standpoint. But I'm also looking and saying, man, if we start going fast and it's not working, do I have the depth on the defensive line to not eventually succumb to gravity halfway through the second quarter or halfway through the third quarter or whatever?
Yeah, I know. I just love this matchup. There's something about Gunnar Stockton, the good old boy, going to play Joey Aguilar, the new cook in the kitchen.
It's a Kenny Chesney song.
And the new cook in the kitchen, and trust me, the food tastes great. I think right now, I mean, you're in a hell of a lot better chance of having Joey Aguilar at quarterback than Nico.
For sure.
Right. So I'm going to go ahead and say that right now. I will say this, okay? You can say what you want about Georgia and what they played Austin Peay. If you've watched Georgia play, they're the real deal. All right. They're the real deal, especially on the defense. They're too deep is absolutely insane. But the big thing to me, one, Josh Heupel, as many lights and eye candy that you see from Josh wants to run the football. All right, Josh wants to turn around and run the football. That's how they get their drives going. So I think one huge thing for Tennessee already is staying on schedule, 2nd and 5, 3rd and 2. And you know how many turnovers Joey Aguilar has right now?
Zero.
Right, and that was his big knock of where he came from. So if you're Tennessee, if you're going to have a chance in this game, you have to stay clean from the turnover and penalty standpoint, and you have to hit big plays versus Georgia. You have to hit those posts over the top, the dig with the post under it. You have to break tackles in space. You're not going to be able to nickel and dime your way past this Georgia defense and put up the points you want to. So if it's Tennessee, you need explosives.
Yeah.
Right? Go ahead.
Well, Blaine, I'm going to say, to me, it's obviously you want to complete all of them, but it's just the threat of it.
Sure.
Even if you don't complete it, you can't. I feel like it's almost, and I'm learning this raising a child. Sometimes if you say, no, you cannot do this to certain things, it makes them want to do it more.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks.
Yeah.
You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid,
Yes,
son.
sir.
Don't miss any of the excitement on this season on Prize Picks, where it's good, great to be right. We've used Prize Picks forever. We're super excited they've hopped on as a sponsor of the show. We're going to be putting out our Prize Picks for anything that's going on, and they make daily fantasy simple. Just select more or less on 2 to 6 player projections to build your lineup, and when your picks hit, you have the opportunity to win up to 2,000 times your money. Available in over 40 states, Prize Picks puts members first with fast, secure withdrawals through Venmo. You can trust them, Apple Pay, and MasterCard. Their innovative Flex Play even lets you cash out and double your money if one pick doesn't hit perfectly. So turn your sports knowledge into real money, or mañan as some call it, in under 60 seconds on Prize Picks, trusted, skill-based fantasy platform that millions of users already rely on to add to the excitement of the season. Again, we're going to be sharing ours. So download the app today, use code BOOSTER, and get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5. That's code BOOSTER to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
So like with Joey Aguilar, he's not turned the ball over yet, but you can't just protect him not to turn the ball over against Georgia. You can't just say, no, Joey, nothing past 15 yards. No, Joey, don't keep this and throw the ball. You kind of got to let him be himself to a certain extent just to get it out. Hey, if we get one-on-one in this 3x1 on the solo side, we're running the vert. Let that son of a bitch ride. Like sometimes you got to let him do it, because if you don't, then it's gonna turn into an emo song with him back there. He's coming out of his cage, trying to force that. So it's that balance to me, the threat, which then at least lets Georgia know, hey, we're willing to rip the top off this bad boy at any time. So you better not, because Georgia will creep. They will creep down the whole. If they smell a rat and they smell you're afraid to take a chance, they will suffocate you literally throughout, like an anaconda, just slowly squeezing you throughout the game until you pop. So to me, that's a big point.
Yeah, I actually think that that's what Tennessee should try and do on their defensive side. I think Tennessee on defense needs to approach this game a lot the way that Oklahoma approached the game plan playing Michigan. Hey, let's stack the box. Let's dedicate as many resources as possible to stopping the run, and let's just find out if Gunnar Stockton can beat us. And if he looks like in the first half that he can beat us and he has a lot of success through the air, or he's having success on zone read, then maybe we can switch things up, right? And you always have to be dynamic and you pre and post snap reads and all that kind of stuff. But if I was Tennessee on defense, that's a game plan that I would come in to give Joey Aguilar on offense as many opportunities as possible, because you're going to need multiple cracks at the apple against a Georgia defense.
See, and that's the game you play, right? And against a Georgia team last year, you know what? I'd have been fine with it. But now Georgia has the personnel and the good enough skill positions to where if you will stack the box and you want to go a man on the outside, Zachariah Branch can take an out 70 yards. Colby Young is your one-on-one deep threat. It's an absolute problem. Oscar Delp at tight end can be the difference. So obviously it's a rob Peter to pay Paul situation, but how much are we robbing them for, at the end of the day? Because those skill positions at Georgia, they're not the same they were last year. They have elite.
But it's kind of like Miami against Notre Dame a little bit.
Sure.
Like Notre Dame had all the same things that you're talking about, but you had a young quarterback in CJ Carr who still has to facilitate those. And I still don't think Notre Dame lost the game because of him. He did some good things. Actually, I don't know what their offensive game plan really was. But still, you have to at least try something, and you might as well point out what you think could be the weakest link and at least poke on it to see if you're right.
Yeah, well, look, again, if I'm getting to Blaine's point, though, if I'm Tennessee, yeah, Gunnar Stockton has to beat me through the air. Yeah. But the question, because that's a lot easier if Georgia's running out there in 11 personnel, right? Mm-hmm. And you're not worried about Delp too much taking you off the seam. If they're going to live in 12 and 11, that's great. The question becomes, if they go 10, and they turn this into a zone read RPO situation, now we'll see what Bobo, I know he's going to try and do. They're going to try and line up and run the ball. They're going to test you early on the ground game. But again, if you're Tennessee, if I'm going to pick a way to die in this one, it's because Gunnar Stockton was just too damn good with ball placement for the whole game. But then again, what does that mean on 3rd and 6, right? Because we know what you're going to do on 3rd and 12. We know what you're going to do on 3rd and 1. But, this is like the 3rd and 6 game, and they're in 11, but Delp's flex Y, and it's Trey open, right? What are you calling then? Are you heating them up? Are you rushing 4? Are you rushing 3 and dropping one off as a spy or in some sort of fire zone or whatever? That, to me, is the game if you're Tennessee to be able to get possessions. We're going to learn so much, I think, about Tennessee's front 7 on defense. Because, again, I think it would be nuts if Georgia came out and said, no, we're just going to spin it around before they see Tennessee loading up a box to where you can throw the bubble, to where you do get Zachariah Branch in a great situation against man free or against zero with a pressure. So the 3rd and 6 chess match, David, is the one I want to see.
If you don't know what Trey open is, that's tight ends open for all.
Well, yeah.
He's wide open to catch the touchdown.
Well, to me, what I call Trey is there's a tight end. It's trips with a tight end.
There you go.
Extended, right? Where the tight end is either soloed up on the one side or he's number 3 with the solo wide receiver. He's not attached. If it was closed on the back end, like where the solo was attached and it was a tight end, then it would be Trey closed. I just call it Trey open because if I say trips open, that's what we call 10 personnel. So
here's the real question. Which one of you boys is going to take Tennessee?
Not me. Not me.
To win?
Yeah, to win.
No, I got Georgia
in Neyland, orange and white. They're going to be singing.
I will
Rocky
say this:
Top.
you're going into one of the best environments in college football.
No, look, this has nothing to do with the Vol Navy or
and they hate each other. Both these programs hate each other.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a best bet in this one. I almost feel like I need to wait till the TTPs come out because I can't see them yet. But my gut would say 50.5. I would see if the number would go up. If it got up to 52.5, I'd take the under. I'm just, gun to my head, I'd take Georgia minus.
Well, it's just how much do both these quarterbacks' feet matter in this game? Because both of them can, if they have to, can tuck it and run it.
They can run it. It's just I think you'd see a lot more design quarterback run with Gunnar Stockton than would. I feel like
that's how important the run game is for Georgia. Not only design quarterback runs, but the play action game. Right?
Well, it's Mike Bobo. They're gonna play action.
Yeah, the play action game. You obviously have to establish the run, but Gunnar's been known, right, 3rd and whatever, to make a couple guys getting that old good boy shake. Right, and get out and go get a first
Mike
down.
Mitchell.
Joey Aguilar is going to have to do the same thing, in my opinion.
No, Joey's going to have to look. You're going to have to make a couple of those improvised plays against Georgia. You always have to. It's never. I can go ahead and tell you against a Kirby Smart coach Georgia team, it's never going to always go according to plan.
Yeah. Against
their defense, very rarely it's oh well that worked, and then we want to do that, and then that worked, and it just
we scripted the whole game plan. We just scripted every play.
That's why I never understand. Y'all should just script the whole game. You talk about, man, that first drive, we were on script. It looked great. Script the whole game then. I don't know how y'all guess what's going to happen so well.
All right, so y'all are both taking Georgia then.
Give me Georgia. Give me Georgia 30-23.
Wow, so the over.
23.
Yeah,
how
I'm changing
about
my
you,
mind.
Blaine?
I'm coming out of my cage. Give me that. If it gets to 53.5, then take the under. But I've got give me Georgia 30-23. What do y'all got?
Give me. God,
you won't.
So wrong. All right, give me.
If Tennessee loses, you'll turn your hair back.
Yeah, deal. Give me 27-24 Georgia.
Yeah, okay, because here's what I was going to say. 24-24 overtime. Georgia walk-off field goal to win it.
David, if you're going to go to overtime, just pick Tennessee.
David, pull
Wish that I was on. No, too much. Walk-off field goal.
Well, let us know in the comments. Georgia, Tennessee. We're going to pin one. What is the score? Give us the exact score. Let us know who you think, why they're going to win. We appreciate you. Make sure you check out all the content. We got a full week 2 recap as well on the channel. So make sure you go check that out. We've got some other previews that are already out and are coming out. We've got a great plan this week for content with some big time guests. So make sure you're subscribed. If you're not, like the chances of me not being excited about a big game in Rocky Top, we're gone.